bombarded back to back with all these great things that are going on with all the wonderful automation suppliers that are here. I'm Mara Weber. I am in the Marketing Communications Department, the Global Department for Honeywell Process Solutions. I've been with the business about 16 years, and I know a lot of happy faces in the audience, and we've brought beer and wine, because, you know, I know it's only us between you and the welcome reception.
All right.
So want you to enjoy all that in the back. So.
You mean we have to drink all of it before we leave?
Yeah. Well, it's all paid for. Why not, though?
Where's the dinner going to be? Oh, sorry.
Okay. So, wanted to kind of give you an introduction and welcome, because we had a slight mishap today, and our expert who was going to be here had a problem with weather. So those are those things that you deal with, an act of God. What are you going to do, right? So you're going to get me, and you're going to get me. Hillary.
All right.
And we're going to do our very best, recognizing I'm not a technical expert, but I think I know a lot more over the years. Most of you that know me well know that I can tap dance a little bit around the process industry. So we're going to start with, Mike Brown will be here. He's flying in. He gets in at 6 tonight. He got through Houston, and he's on his way. A lot of you have one-on-ones set up with Mike. A lot of you also have one-on-ones set up with Jeff and Eric Knapp from our cybersecurity team. So we do have Eric here as well, in case some questions come up for him that you'd like to address while we're here together. This morning, a fantastic multimedia press release went out. Most of you have seen it. I know some of you have already started to do some things to cover it. It's the latest in our innovation in our portfolio when it comes to a lot of the systems, the assets, the devices that we have, the software that we have that are industrial Internet of Things ready for our customer end users. It's very exciting. It's our first real foray into mobility and taking our software programs and making them available in a mobile application. It's called Pulse. So want to talk a little bit about where we sit in terms of the industrial Internet of Things. To us, it's digital transformation. We look at it as the fact that, years and years ago, in early 2000s, when we launched Experion, and we launched it as the process knowledge system, the whole idea was that it was enabling a lot more integration with software and devices, and it was enabling a lot more access and analytics to data that's critical in running operations. So when you look back at that and you look at all that we've done through the years, when you think about the fact that we have had recent acquisitions even with Elster, when we went back a couple years ago and we acquired Matricon, which included Matricon OPC UA, there's a tremendous amount in our portfolio that is very exciting, and Pulse is our latest for that. So what we want to start with is the idea that for us, digital transformation equals connecting people, processes, and assets. Because at the end of the day, the end users need to have a much more profitable operation, and that's the whole concept around the value of the industrial Internet of Things. So let's cue a video real quick.
There's a lot of hype about the industrial Internet of Things and how your business can benefit. An IIoT approach promises to help you maximize the connectivity of real-time operating data, automate predictive analytics, and let people work collaboratively in the moment. It can bring incredible agility to decision-making, improving your bottom line. The industrial Internet
when you think about our portfolio, a lot of you through the years have seen us work very heavily on a lot in terms of innovations through research and development, a tremendous investment, especially when you think of the field and all the new stuff that we've been launching over the last couple of years. With the recent acquisition here of Elster, it's also brought to us a significant, stronger portfolio when it comes to instrumentation and devices in the midstream gas. You look at, when you think of the system side it's not just DCS, it's also QCS for the pulp and paper customers, and those that are doing things with films, the CWS. But you also think of what we're doing in the safety systems. And again, making sure that all of those can integrate. They can integrate across the device, all the devices and instrumentation, but also with the Matrix and the OPC UA, it enables us to have a lot more seamless integration with some of the devices and software that's produced by other automation suppliers in the space. Then you go up into our advanced solutions portfolio. We've done tremendous things in this area, have the broadest portfolio available. A lot of you have been a part of, last year when we were here, we talked about our Unisim competency suite that's done, also in virtual reality, which is an excitement. But there's a tremendous amount in that portfolio, and Pulse Mobility app is a great gateway to how you can get tremendous benefit from those and be able to access that information and also manage that information from anywhere and at any time. So at that, I will introduce Hillary, who's going to do a demo of Pulse.
All right, thanks, Mara. So as Mara mentioned, I'm Hillary Guisdala. I work in product marketing for our advanced solutions business, part of obviously Honeywell Process Solutions. So IoT by Honeywell, let's talk about it in action. So let's talk about with mobility. And as you can kind of see in our chart here, why mobility? Well, the number of devices being used continues to increase. The integration between the devices is something that we're all noticing every day in our personal lives and at work. And that's really one thing that Honeywell's doing. We're working to change the way our customers can do things. So we're taking things that we're all used to doing at home and implementing them in the industrial workspace. So we have three main goals in our mobility strategy. So first, provide visibility to data and information in near real time, enabling situational awareness with a fast response to conditions, and then leveraging that expertise as not locally at an incident. So having your subject matter experts have access to information and data wherever they are. So as Mara mentioned, now I want to introduce Honeywell Pulse. So this is our new iPhone mobile app, which notifies users of plant conditions that may require attention using Honeywell's industrial automation software. So notifications are raised based on rules set up by the user or by a system administrator based on that user's job. And Pulse notifications provide information to let users understand the issue and work out what to do next. And so basically, what it does is helps get information to experts on assets so they can connect in real time. And as Mara mentioned, Honeywell is really working to connect people to the information. And then they can decide what to do with it next. So a few things that Honeywell Pulse can do, and as she mentioned, I will try to walk you through a live demo on this, is you can publish alerts in near real time. You can allow teams to activate business processes. You can take action and collaborate via the mobile app. And you can also monitor and access data from anywhere, anytime. And all of this is done through the user's secure network. So now let's see if I can do the demonstration of the app here. Let me just switch over. I can make it work. Sorry, got the wrong button here. Great. Okay, so now what you guys are seeing is a live sync of my screen on my phone here. And so I've already logged into the app. And so what you can do is log in either with a username and password or an Apple Touch ID. So once I've logged in, what you have is access to the events page. And you'll see different events up there. So personal limits and alarms, for instance, right now. And the alarms are being pulled from our Dynamo alarm management system. And the personal limits are coming in through our PHD, our Uniformance Process History Database integration. So that's our historian, our plant historian. And really those personal limits are doing a comparison of a parameter's value to a user-defined limit. So at the top of the page, what you have are different filters, right? So right now you see all of the events, but I can also sort them by which ones I've already started following, right? So I flag these for later, something I want to find easily to get back to. Of course you have unread, that one's pretty straightforward, or things that I have closed. So maybe I've closed the alert or the event because it's no longer relevant, it's finished, or maybe I'm just no longer interested in hearing about it. So we go back, and so there's also functions here on the page. I can swipe, oops, I swiped too far. And the first one on the left there, the dark blue, is snooze. So I can snooze it to, maybe I see this event and I'm interested but not right now. So you can pick a specific time, date, whatever you want it to come back and notify you. I can flag it, like we already talked about, or I can close it that I'm not interested. So let's find one that we are interested in. How about this alarm? Just pick one, just came in. And this takes you to the event detail page. So this has the description, location, the source, and the condition, as well as the time of the event and the priority number, which is shown by the level of bars next to the word alarm. So this is a 3-level alarm, so it's a very high priority. And if I scroll down, I have access to a snapshot of the trend. And so say I want to get more information, I can actually dive into the trend, and you can see before and after the alarm occurred and have access to that data, and as well as any values along the time. So you can see I can move the data, I can look at it by the minute, I can do it by the day, you can zoom in, you can look at the hour, and it's showing the tags that are in that event. So let me go back. So at the bottom of this page, you also see close. So again, what we've already talked about. Or I could say, I'm going to take ownership of this event and let all my colleagues know, I've got this, I'm going to take action. So I clicked own, and you can see right away that it now says that I own the event, has my name, and if Mara were to log in, she would already see that I own the event. And so again, at the bottom, I can release it now. You see it switched, so now that I own it, I can release it. I can flag it from here, or I can share it. Let's go to activity first, and I'll go back to share. So activity is like a commenting or collaboration section of the app. And basically, so it tells everyone automatically that if they look at this event, that I took ownership. But I can make a comment in here and say, maybe I called maintenance. And I can post, oops, I gotta hit the right button though, hold on. I was gonna say, once I post it there, my phone doesn't have Touch ID, so I can't log in that quickly as if I had Touch ID. Let me get us back in there. There's my one that says I own it. If you guys see my little person on there. Let's try that again. Call. Let's just do that. So there's my message to my colleagues. And you can actually go in and edit it. So if I change my mind, I have a typo, or if I want to delete it, you can edit your comments. So let's go down to share. So I also have the ability right from the app to share the event with my other colleagues, whether they're on the Pulse app or if they're in my email. And it's just real easy to 2 clicks and I can go ahead and share the alert information with whomever. So let me back up here. So that's really the section on events. Now, if I click over here, here's the other items. So let's talk about rules. So rules allow users to specify exactly what kinds of events that they're interested in. So I have 3 things set up here. One was set up by the system administrator, so the one with the globe. So those are things that are like the entire organization wants everyone to be aware of and get notified, maybe a big asset that's really critical to the process, what have you. The other two are ones that I've set up, they're my personal rules. So let's go through real quickly and I'll show you how to set up an app, a rule, sorry. So here's the two triggers or data sources that we have at this point installed, which is again the Dynamo Alarm Suite or a historian or the Uniformance PhD. So if I want to set up an alarm, I can go through and pick the source, the category, condition, priority, and really drill down to what is it exactly that I want to know. So if I pick the source, maybe I'm in charge of refinery 2. I think in here we just have compressor set up, so I want to be notified if anything happens in the U1 of the compressor of the refinery 2. So I just pick those. So those are the sources I've added. I can add additional sources if I want, but for this that's fine. Again, you can pick different categories or different conditions of that exact source. And then I'm going to say, even though I'm in charge of the refinery 2, and I think I only want the urgent alerts, and I will ask other team members to get the high ones. So then I hit next, and then you can specify the different tags and trends here. So I'm just going to leave that one as it is. And it takes you to the end page, which is like a full detail page of what did you set up on your rule. So you can see the whole, what kind of filters I sorted by. And it auto gives you a name, but you can edit it, maybe shorten it up a little bit. It's kind of long and say rule 1, right? Hit done, creates the rule, and now you can see it in the tool. And I'll do another one real quickly on the limits. So again, you pick a source, and this actually lets you sort by tag. And so maybe I'm interested in a temperature for a temperature tag. You just type in whatever word and it auto searches for tags that have that in there. And I'll just pick this one. And on this part, it lets you pick, if it's going to go above or below a certain limit, you can set that in there. Let's say I don't want it to go, I want to be notified if it goes below 55. And you also have a chance, this use average value, which basically calculates an average across 1 minute, and it compares the value against the parameter. If I leave it on, it takes more of a snapshot, so I'm going to just leave that on as well. Same thing, if I want to add other sources, other tags, I can, but I'm good with that. We'll go ahead and do the trend. And here is, again, that detail page. So the only difference here is you can see the notification frequency. So maybe I don't need to hear about this every 10 minutes. Maybe I need to, it's about 30 minutes sounds better for this. And there we go. There's my temperature rule as the second one. All right, so I got 2 more quick things to show you. So the next one is watch list. So what we have is a way that you can save a trend so you can come back to it really frequently. If there's something you're always watching. And so instead of waiting for an event to occur, you can just set up a watch list, kind of like a rule, but a watch list to have it notify you. So I have one in there for transmitter repair, but let's just look real quick. So pull it up and you search by tags. So maybe we search by the V tag, for instance. Pick that, hit done. And it starts giving me the trends that I want to see on this particular tag. I click done, and then you can make a name for your watch list. So let's just call that V tag. Hit OK. And now it automatically shows up in my watch list. A second way you can add things to the watch list actually is if I go back to the event page, and I go down to the trends. Maybe you guys noticed, but that top right, there's a little eyeball. And I can just add it via the event page as well. Okay, so the last thing here is just real quickly show you under the settings function, which is a way to, right through the app, you can easily configure which notifications you want to receive through the iOS. So I can be really specific about when I receive notifications, how many, and all of those things. Then on the security side, do I want to turn on the Touch ID? Do I want the app to auto lock? Do I not want it to auto lock? And then we have some information about licensing, and then we actually have a little mini tour. So when you first download the app, you get to see this tour, but it's also housed under settings. So basically, yeah, that's the list of the features for the Honeywell Pulse application. We appreciate your time and kind of watching me navigate through the app here.
So, as we said, we have Mike Brown will be here later tonight, and he'll be here all day tomorrow, all day Wednesday until Thursday. We had a lot of one-on-ones set up with all of you guys, which is fantastic. So clearly, we did an okay job, but they can do a much better job getting me through it. We're not process engineers, but I think Hillary did phenomenal. Hillary's also at the booth, and we have access to any other individuals that you might want to speak with in regards to this. I know some of you want to know more about how it works with Dynamo, how it works with Uniformance. We do have other software that's in line and is being developed. This has been an extremely quick development for us, very exciting. Went from an idea that erupted in a customer meeting to bam, within about 7 months, this was available to customers. The Dynamo customers being the first ones, and it's subscription based, so they can choose if they have more than Dynamo, if they have Uniformance and Dynamo, if they have other things that it can all be part of their subscription. So hope this has been helpful. Eric is here if anyone has anything in regards to cybersecurity. We can try to do our best if there's more stuff in terms of Pulse and where we sit with IIoT. But we do have some great gifts for you all, and of course, there's beer and wine. Mark?
You talked about this being an iPhone app. What about Android?
It's yeah. Today it's only available on iPhone or iOS, but that is in the works definitely to create Android and Windows versions as well.
Can you have it notified based on your location, like notify whoever's closest, or not notify you if you're far away or if you're on vacation?
You're assuming you're going to get a vacation.
Well, I said proximity. I think you would set up the rules again based on your assets, but your plant, right? So I think you would determine which things that you want to be notified.
Sure.
And if you were traveling, you could just turn off those notifications. So it's 2 clicks to say, don't notify me at all right now.
Right, but can it know where you are so that it would know, like, say, to notify everybody within 500 feet or whatever? Yeah.
I don't believe so. I know one of the things that
would be
we
a
always
good
talk
idea.
about is having your subject matter experts wherever. So
No,
if you are on the
notify
app
what
with
he
me and I
said.
say,
Will it
hey,
notify
Paul, I could use your help
everybody
on
within 500
this,
feet to
you
run?
could see it even if you were around the world, but I don't think it's geo-targeted.
Right, okay.
So suppose I have 3 managers and 15 techs. Can I do some kind of global configuration so the plant is split up among them? This would be a nightmare. You'd have to sit everybody down in one room and try to get some configuration where nothing would be missed, and somebody wouldn't constantly hit Z, and if Eric's hitting Z all the time, is he going to get notified to you so that you know that he's hit Z 30 times?
That might be a better question for Mike to answer, I think.
Sorry, Eric.
I've noted that, and we'll make sure that Mike
Mhm.
answers that. It's probably a little bit above our head.
Thanks.
Yes.
Hillary, I apologize if I'm going to geek out on you a little bit here. I'm interested in the types of alarms you can generate or notices. You gave us an example where temperature goes high, so it's the typical high-low limit type of. But what about maybe something a little more advanced, like delta P, so tag 1 minus tag 2, pressure's too high, start running type of thing, or maybe other.
There's a lot of this idea about
logic.
starting to
Can you
run.
tell us what else what kind of formulas are supported?
Yeah, that would probably be another good one for Mike as well. I know, just
It's like the
basically that
training
whatever
that I got
alarms
at
that can be
Monsanto,
generated through the
Texas
Dynamo
City.
alarm management, I know work within the
They said
app.
if you hear
But
5
I don't know
blasts
a
on the
lot of
horn, do
details
not
of what
stop
those
and kiss your
are.
ass goodbye.
And then the personal
Run
limits
for
one,
the
we're more
fence.
around the historian. So that's based on the tags that you've selected. If that's kind of helpful or not, but yeah, if you ask Mike that one, he'll probably know the deeper terminology for the Dynamo alarms.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is your target market more the users within the fence of the plant or outside of the fence?
Yeah, we look at managers, supervisors, and the people at the plant. I mean, it's kind of all levels, but the idea is, I mean, on this particular picture we're showing, right, he can be, you could be at a conference, you could be out golfing, or you could, if this is a critical thing, the idea is you could be notified now and not have it escalate while you're away, right?
So you're never off the clock?
Are we? Backswing right there. We're always off the clock.
What a terrible
So is there a
backswing.
server-side component then that I guess people would have to, or is that part of the Dynamo system going forward, sending out the, because you gotta have a top?
Yeah, you would need to have, I guess I didn't say that part, you would need to have the industrial automation software, you already have to have, say, Dynamo installed to be able to have Honeywell Pulse, for example.
But it's, yeah, it has to have some kind of a connection out to the
Yes.
server that I assume comes through Honeywell then, that's the subscription side.
Yeah.
Marta, is this a tenant for BYOD, bring your own device, or is it these going to be controlled devices? Because the cyber issues here are pretty broad,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
Especially when you're on an iPhone, which has other much of the cyber
So
issues.
we'll let Eric take that one.
I'm not an expert on Pulse.
Right, but an app running on an iOS that's...
I would assume that if you are running this type of application, you probably wouldn't want to support that on a BYOD kind of environment, but it is an information sharing application. It's not a control application, so there is
That's the big difference.
there is a focus on information rather than control. So there's a big piece of the cyber risk falls off by doing
But
that.
information is power.
Information is power, yes, and information is valuable. So it is still a cyber issue, it's just not as big a problem. Also, the connection that you use obviously should be a secure connection. And that connectivity, that information sharing, and that's where the cybersecurity team comes in. We can help you with that part.
And your password probably shouldn't be password 1.
I noticed
We're supposed to see that.
No, it could be
It's not
16
like a
characters with a label on the back of the phone.
Yeah.
You caught it too, did you?
I did. I wasn't going to say anything about it.
But the application is an open loop, right? Because you initiate actions based on the alarms and alerts and trends you got, so it is a control application.
Yeah.
No, there's, if I understand that right, there are actions that you can initiate based on the information.
It's more of like a collaboration tool, right? So I'm not actually doing something. I'm more saying what we're doing, like I took the ownership and then passed, or maybe I said, hey, Eric, can you help me call?
And again, not fully understanding how the Pulse application works. My understanding is it doesn't, there is a button that says, shut the system down.
Yeah.
There's a button you can say to recommend to your colleague that they look into it, because they may possibly need to shut down.
There isn't a button that says run like hell either.
Putting the human element in the way of cyber is always a good idea. Usually good idea.
But if your networking is done via, if it's an iOS system, your networking presumably would be Wi-Fi or cellular, right? And so there'd be some encryption just because it's Wi-Fi. It would be encryption native to Wi-Fi or whatever cellular encryption there is. So you would have some security because of that. Because this isn't over IP, because it's an iOS system.
Ultimately, the information coming out of that show needs to get to right, and that's the piece you want to make sure
Right, but the app itself goes via Wi-Fi or cellular, isn't that correct? It's an iOS app, so we have to use Wi-Fi or cellular. It should be more secure than an IP internet protocol based situation.
Yeah, again, I'm not 100% sure how you're doing it.
I'll ask.
You would assume.
If you guys don't have a one-on-one with Mike and you would like to have a one-on-one with him to get greater detail, whether it's here or whether it's on a phone follow-up, please let me or Bryce know and we can do that. And Bryce is in the back waving.
Let Hillary also hit
Well,
too.
that,
Yeah.
I have a question to piggyback onto the in-plan or out-plan. I was just curious about your data. I mean, I know the Android is a lot easier to port to than the iPhone, but did you survey your customers to see who is actually using these devices within their plan from the percentage on this? Because a lot of them can't use them.
We actually did do a survey, and I think we referenced it in the press release that went out today. I think we had that number in there. I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've been doing a mobility survey through our website and then through customer meetings.
The more
And
we're using iPhone and that.
yeah, and actually it was really kind of interesting by geography as well, what location, but the U.S. especially is predominantly iPhone, and we thought that was a good one to start with.
Very interesting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please make sure to see Bryce and get one of our thank you gifts for joining us. And by all means, take a glass of wine, take a beer, whatever you would like to.
Well, they're not.